So I do teach history at Westchester University. I'm here to talk about the good war. And, you know, thinking about the good war, you know, the way we think as a society about the Second World War, this very unambiguous crusade that we'll talk about how that idea came into creation. And we'll also talk about reasons why maybe we should complicate that idea a little bit. And complicating that idea a little bit, at least as I suggest, not only can help better inform policy today, but also give us a better sense of the kinds of sacrifices that occurred during the Second World War and enable us to honor the memory of the people who were involved. Which is a good thing, because one of the things that I've done as an educator is grade high school essays. And here we're talking about the good war, why we should complicate it. High school students maybe not really sure so much about the Second World War. A couple of years ago, I was grading advanced placement essays, and the question asked about the Second World War. And I was really excited to grade these essays because I'm thinking the cream of the crop, right? This is advanced placement kids. Some of the answers are there. My favorite, of course, is the Japanese did not have a harsh life until the bomb was dropped. Their pain was gastronomical. Didn't know whether to laugh or cry in some days. The students obviously under a lot of stress, you know, they have to memorize everything, but I think it suggests the importance of a program like this, right? And hopefully, you know, providing an ongoing education. The students that I have now at Westchester University, many of them have no personal recollection of September the 11th, right? So Pearl Harbor, World War II is such the distant past. But I can say that the students that I have at Westchester University are very interested in the Second World War when they come to me, particularly history majors. This is a photograph from a couple of years ago on Omaha Beach. Myself and a colleague took a group of our students. We called it the Band of Brothers Tour. And we started in London, and we went down to Portsmouth and across the Channel, spent some time in Normandy, to Paris. From Paris, we went to Bastogne, and then Cologne, and then Berlin, and Munich. And the whole time, my colleague, Dr. Brenda Gadosh, she would, because I was nervous, I hadn't taken college students overseas before. And of course, she would gather them all up, and she would say, just think of me like I'm your mother. You know, because she was worried about them getting on the trains and all the rest. And she would finish her thing. And then I would get in front of them and I would say, just think of me like I'm your slightly disinterested uncle. I don't care if you get on the bus, I'll be in the back reading my book. But what I saw from the students, I was really impressed with, because I didn't know what to expect. They didn't miss the train. They didn't miss the bus. They walked on that beach with an amazing reverence. And when we visited Dachau, you could have heard the pin drop from anywhere. I was truly a remarkable experience, and to see those students learn in that way was fantastic.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I've been to Normandy Beach. Where is that? I don't remember seeing that.
It's right on Omaha Beach. It's a memorial.
Omaha Beach?
So many students come to me and they have learned about the Second World War, maybe through films, right? Very popular, and through video games. Very popular. We were talking about it before the program started. The video games and the movies, you know, the students come and they learn a lot about playing these games and watching the movies, you know, about uniforms and about weapon types and things like that. But the films tend to be very narrow in their focus, right? They tend to focus on a small group of Americans that are going across Europe and encountering frustrations. There's generally sort of stereotypical characters, right? You know, that represent whether it's the Bronx or the South or whatever. They don't learn much about the context of the war. What they do get is a sense of adventure that in a lot of ways sort of pulls them in, particularly with the video games. That's not really anything new. I mean, comic books, shortly after the war, started to do this. And comic books at one time, of course, incredibly popular for young people to read. And in my work with Vietnam War veterans, many of them, particularly at the beginning of the war, in terms of going to Vietnam, learned about war by reading comic books, or maybe by seeing some of the films that were like the comic books. When they got to Vietnam, it was very different from the version of World War II that they had been digesting in the comic books and in the films. Two out. I think one just came out and the other one has come. It's sort of become almost a holiday tradition in the United States. I mean, Christmas time means World War II movies. Every year we seem to get at least one or two that are out in the theaters. From the very beginning, the Second World War, I mean, it really is our cinema war. It's our movie war. I mean, we talk about Vietnam as being a television war. From the very onset, the Second World War was a cinematic war. And you know, I had answered some questions that Vince and Chris had put together to interview me before this event. And I was asking students in my classes 2 weeks ago, what is it about World War II? What makes it so popular? And the answers they gave me was that through the films, very similar to things like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. You know, sort of a small group of ragtag, a band up against a very evil kind of empire, and there's sort of trials through the thing and they emerge victorious. Really interesting, I thought, because, you know, sometimes we forget that the United States, that Americans, were very disillusioned following the First World War. Remember, World War I was to make the world safe for democracy, right? And that didn't really happen very much. Of course, there was a depression here in the United States. And there were American veterans who marched to Washington, D.C. to demand a bonus that they didn't get. So, after Pearl Harbor, obviously the mood changes, but nevertheless, the government is kind of concerned that people aren't going to back the war effort. So they produced 7 film installments. Frank Capra reported George Marshall. Prelude to the War the First won the Oscar for Best Documentary in 1942. And you see Lowell Mellett here. Lowell Mellett was the motion picture director in the Office of Wartime Information. The OWI was the Second World War's version of the First World War's Committee on Public Information. Because everybody knows Americans don't do propaganda. That's what the Germans do. We provide information. We educate people. So the CPI went out of existence after the First World War because people were afraid that a president would use it to his own political end. But as the United States began moving into the Second World War, we created an Office of Wartime Information to educate Americans as to why they should support the war. And you see here, Mellett's quote, one of the most skillful jobs in movie making you'd ever seen. Hence maybe a little bit dangerous. Um, of course, at the time, Dwight David Eisenhower, in planning the D-Day operation, was up to 5 packs of cigarettes a day. Look at hell of a toll on his health, right? There were serious concerns about this amphibious landing that, looked like they were beginning to manifest themselves on Omaha Beach. Of course, it didn't, and the problem sort of lay in the hedgerows and moving through the bocage. But here you see this quote, and of course he also uses this in his memoir, It's a Great Crusade. This very idealistic language. Now, the same idealistic language had been used during the First World War, but the First World War, there wasn't an Adolf Hitler, and there was a lot of complexity at the end. It's used during the Second World War. And moving forward, Studs Terkel released his oral history, The Good War, 1985 Pulitzer Prize. Amazing visual quality, the New York Times said, demonic cinematography. And then you see Clinton in 1997, his second inaugural, talking about how the United States saved the world from tyranny. Oliver North, the war that America won for the world. Part of this notion of the good war, but part of what I think we need to complicate a little bit. Some historians have begun work, including the late Paul Fussell. Paul Fussell was a World War II veteran. You see his quote there. In the 1980s, 1990s, amidst the sort of films that were coming out in The Greatest Generation, a little concerned about that. The Best War Ever, War Without Mercy, which focuses on the Pacific, and more recently, only a couple of years ago, Will Hitchcock released The Bitter Road to Freedom, talking about the human cost of Allied victory and sort of what was going on the ground. History versus Hollywood. Of course, there's the cinematic version of the film, and then there's the history. According to the United States Army, in a survey of its enlisted, 5% left right. Why were they fighting? Well, if my two uncles, my Uncle Frank and my Uncle John, out in western Pennsylvania right now, doing very well, when I asked them, why were you fighting? I wanted to come home. Or we were there for our buddies. Two very common kinds of things we hear about soldiers in wartime, but not in World War II movies. 13% can name 3 of Roosevelt's 4 freedoms. 75% of combat tested felt, look, send us home. And you see the quote there from Richard Leacock about Hollywood films. The draft dodging, not as bad as, say, Vietnam, 5%. And you had a fair amount of desertion and court martials as well. A couple of years ago, an editor, a colleague of mine, Jonathan Friedman, asked me if I would write a chapter on anti-war music in the 20th century. And I said, yeah, I'll do that, Jonathan, but I'm not going to write, sort of the Pete Seeger, Bob Dylan chapter. I'm going to write a chapter about the songs that people in the military sang during the 20th century who were frustrated with their officers, with the army, with military life. So this, for example, we can sing it if you want. Parties, banquets, and balls, boys, parties, banquets, and balls. This frustration that you get in a lot of these songs that soldiers sang to one another. They would take popular songs, maybe from songs, and they would rewrite the lyrics. And it's this tradition which you see in the Second World War. Part of it, when we think about the Second World War, part of that good war idea is that it was a war that involved all of America. That America was fully invested. Well, some of the numbers regarding the combat, you see that less than 2% saw combat. 25% in the European theater, 30% in the Pacific were able to fire their weapons. World War II was won with the big stuff. The big artillery, air power, not so much from the infantry. You see the Soviet Union. I mean, in the Soviet Union, of course, they called it the Great Patriotic War. 34 million, now about 8 million of those were ethnic minorities, non-Russian. Quite a lot of them were women, too, who fought in the war. And when you talk about total war, the Soviets were very much involved in a total war. The United States is a little bit more removed than what we sometimes commonly imagine. Because of those numbers, the people who were in combat, period, for long periods of time, and they understood, it was pretty commonly understood, that the casualties were going to catch up with you. And not just the physical, but the psychological. You see there, Walter B. Smith, his quote, "War's a dirty business. Simply a question of killing or being killed. A weakling or an unskilled soldier simply will not stand up to it." And that, of course, kind of fueled the idea within the military and in general society at the time that if you couldn't hack it, you were a mama's boy. You were weak. You didn't have a lot of sympathy for somebody. The understanding and the perception presented through Hollywood and at that time was the more combat you saw, the better you got at it. The more sort of hard you became. Not the case. The military learned that later, and it's the reason for the one-year tour of duty in Vietnam, because this awareness that through time you don't become more effective. Of course, the reporters at the time were under strict censorship conditions, and they weren't really able to talk about what they were seeing. Charles Lynch there saying, really, we were cheerleaders. This quotation from MacDonald's memoir, a reporter asked the soldier, "So tell me, kid, what do you miss most about home?" And you see the quote there. I've got something to say. Tell them this is too damn serious over here. We'll be talking about baked beans and baseball and whatever else you want me to say. Tell them it's rough. Tell them it's rough. Serious business. That's all. This myth of a clean and congenial warrior. Anthony Spofford, maybe you've either read or seen Jarhead. He's the author of Jarhead, writing about the way Americans are presented war in very romantic and very clean kinds of ways. And it's, of course, nothing new. I have Clausewitz there, the German military theorist from the beginning of the 19th century, talking about, there's this disconnect between the way we perceive it and the way it's experienced. Jonathan Shea, a combat psychiatrist, says what soldiers need most when leaving war is not a mental health professional, but a living community to whom his experiences matter. Fussell said the silence of veterans is because they've discovered that no one is very interested in the bad news they have to report. This is a poem that's called Eviscerated from a current veteran, Robin Murray, and you see her sort of reflecting this kind of sentiment, this divide between the society's understanding of what's happening and a soldier's experience. In her particular case, she went into the military after 9/11, and remember, women weren't supposed to be in combat. And she was civil affairs. Well, it was like a day or two in where she had to fire a weapon. Total war. You know, again, the idea that the United States as a society was fully vested in the Second World War. Well, you see some of the numbers there. You know, in terms of the polling, neither married men nor married women were very interested in having women go to war. And as the war started to wind down, you see in a lot of the popular magazines at the time, you know, suggesting it's time for women, if they are working, to go back to the house. 59% of Americans couldn't find China on the map in 1942. You know, sometimes today, when we're talking, I know at least in my circles about young people, right? And really, even the way I began this, about damn kids today. The amount of money that we borrow, you know, part of the good war, the Great Crusade, is that it really boosted, benefited the American economy. The United States borrowed a lot of money to fight the good war. And as a consequence, it took until 1970 to pay off that debt. Of course, we can't diminish or marginalize the Allied effort to rid the world of the Nazis, of Adolf Hitler, but certainly we need to acknowledge what was happening within the United States military as it fought racism overseas, and very much had it reflected in the armed services. Allman was the commander of the 92nd Infantry Division. And of course, that was an all-black combat unit. Port Chicago Mutiny in 1944, you know, a number of African Americans in the Navy being used basically as manual labor. And they forced to work under very difficult conditions. A horrible explosion. They killed a lot of people. And the replacements flat out refused to go back into that. And they were court-martialed for that. I was reading an account in preparation for this. One African-American Marine, while waiting for a train in Atlanta, was arrested by a police officer who, for impersonating a Marine, he refused to believe that an African-American could be in the Marines. So he spent the night in the stockade. Despite the fact that during the First World War, and really every war before, African Americans participated in combat, often quite heroically. The First World War is a great example because, you know, we're going to fight again the war to make the world safe for democracy, but African Americans are going to serve in segregated units and largely act as custodians. The Harlem Hellfighters, the New York National Guard Infantry Regiment, was given by General John J. Pershing to the French. Now, this is the same General John J. Pershing who kept the United States sidelined while the American Expeditionary Force was put together because American troops were not going to serve under foreign command. There wasn't going to be any amalgamation. Okay? You can have the black guys. So they went and they fought for the French. And you see, in this particular case, I've read different numbers. The number that seems most common is that he single-handedly warded off 24 Germans. And he was hurt quite badly in the process. Didn't receive a pension from the United States government. Didn't receive a Purple Heart. You see, he got the Medal of Honor in 2015. Right? Of course, domestically, a number of people were interned, and in the case, now, some of those, particularly in the case from Latin America, the Nazis were trying to cultivate German support abroad. And about 8 or 9% of those that were deported from Latin America professed allegiance to the Nazi Party. Nevertheless, again, within that context of the good war, this is something that we need to grapple with. Because most of these people, of course, weren't guilty of anything. And in the case of the Japanese, 20,000 Japanese were recruited by the military from within the internment camp and went to fight, and did so in admirable fashion. Pictures here regarding the Japanese. The one thing that came up last week when we were talking, because the experience of the Japanese versus the experience of the Italians and Germans. Remember, during the First World War, the Italians and Germans in the United States had to endure that kind of treatment. I mean, there was quite a lot of pressure, and then even after the war, if you're familiar with the Sacco and Vanzetti case, for example, in Massachusetts. So there was very early efforts, even in the interwar, to assimilate, right? You're not going to speak that outside the house. You're going to speak English. You're an American. To sort of make that ethnicity less visible. Not possible with the Japanese. And of course, the Japanese put in camps. And a lot, Dower's book I mentioned, talks quite a lot about the racial war that went on between Americans and Japanese. Both the Japanese and the Americans viewed one another as being subhuman. And if you're familiar at all with the contours of it was brutal. I mean, the fighting was far more atrocious, greater atrocities, horrible in the Pacific. The casualties were higher. Domestically, though, of course, there was a lot of this, right? This kind of viewing of what Japs were, and it informed the way the war was fought. When I was working on that book, I was really interested in Vietnam. The United States repeatedly said it was there to win hearts and minds. But the military strategy was search and destroy, kill BC. So how do you balance these two things? And I was kind of interested in how the United States was going about this process. And of course, it conducted what it called at the time in Vietnam psychological operations. During the Second World War, it was psychological warfare. And I mentioned the OWI earlier, the Office of Wartime Information. The other half of that was the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, which was headed by William Donovan. When I was interested in Vietnam, I was sort of going back, because what's informing this policy regarding Vietnamese? And I come across the way the OSS instructed people to conduct psychological warfare against the Nazis. Against the Nazis. It's clear we're fighting against the Nazis. The criminal was unconditional surrender, but against the Nazis. There are all kinds of reports about when American soldiers got to Germany. You can look at the numbers. Venereal disease went up. Front lines and American GIs were like magnet iron. And Americans were incredibly impressed with how neat and tidy the Germans were, right? I mean, there was this, not the Japs. We weren't fighting against a criminal regime in Japan. We were fighting against the Japs. So almost anything was on the table. And when I was doing the research for this, I first came across an idea that was pitched to William Donovan in 1942. Based on really no understanding of Japanese culture, of Japanese people, the idea became prevalent that the Japanese were incredibly afraid of bats. Bats. And if we could somehow figure out how to take these bats and put them on planes and fly them over the islands and release them,
if possible with incendiary bombs, it would scare the hell out of the Japs because they're uncivilized and they're. We spent about $800,000 learning a couple of things. One, if you put bats in airplanes high altitude, they can't breathe and they die. And also, if you try to put little bombs on the necks of bats, they sort of might fly out and fly back into the plane and back there. So, all right, no bats. What about foxes? A gentleman from Pennsylvania wrote President Roosevelt suggesting that he had on good authority that the Japs were superstitious and foxes were a bad omen. And if we had to invade the homelands, if we could somehow have foxes as part of, I'm not making this up, I can show you the documents. They would go in with foxes and they would terrify, the foxes would terrify. So the OSS, we're in Philadelphia, right? You ever see the mummers? So they had costumes that looked like mummers' costumes. They were foxes. They had psychological warfare battalions that had we invaded the islands. They had whistles. They had a contract with a company out in St. Louis making whistles that sounded like foxes. So these guys would hit the beaches blowing these whistles. Can you imagine doing this against the Nazis? I mean, can you imagine putting this? We're going to dress up like foxes and fly bats over Berlin, and the Nazis are going to go. But we spent a lot of money, and God only knows if we would have invaded, if we would have actually done it. Now, I tried to give you some of what I tell my students is so what. I mean, earlier, right? That gap between the romantic version of the war and what soldiers experience creates issues in our society. Well, here's a so what for you in this case. Right when I was doing this research, and I'm not making it up, it was in the fall of 2001, and I walked into a newsstand. I was just in there to buy a newspaper and a cup of coffee. I walk in, and the American invasion of Afghanistan had just started. And the proprietor behind the counter said, "You know what we ought to do?" And I said, "What should we do?" And he said, and I said, "Yeah, sure, we'll just nuke everybody, right? That was all kinds of things." So I guess he could see my frustration. So as I'm going to leave, he says, "I'll tell you what we really ought to do." And I said, "What should we really do?" And he said, "Pigs. Damn towelheads are afraid of pigs. If we fly pigs over there." I'm like, "Oh my God, don't write the President of the United States." I don't want to. I have since spoken to people in the government about all of this. And I was told recently by a gentleman that out of frustration with the rules of engagement, a number of people dropped pork patties over Mosul. But what they found was that the pork patties disintegrated before they hit the ground. And so it wasn't really you know, this notion, the United States fought another war that was greatly romanticized at the end of the 19th century, not as a good war, but as a splendid little war, where we went to war with Spain to rid Cuba and the Philippines of the Spanish. And you see here, of course, that the Filipinos are getting their first bath in civilization from then President William McKinley. And you see some of what happened next. I mean, on the far left is a picture of Emiliano Aguinaldo. Emiliano Aguinaldo was taken by the United States Navy from Hong Kong to the Philippines. And you see the way it was portrayed in the press, because at the time, he was viewed as sort of a Filipino George Washington. That was the projection. Now, once he decided to stay in the Philippines, he actually insisted on making sure that it remained a regular kind of war to his people. Because he said, we can't give the Americans an excuse to call us savages. We've got to wear uniforms. That didn't go very well. As a consequence, it turned into an insurgency. And the insurgency produced things like the water cure. They produced, as you see there, a massacre where you have an American general give out an order out of frustration. He wanted every male under the age of 14 killed because he couldn't trust who was for us and who was against us. And what else came out of this war was going to the Philippines. American soldiers were listening to minstrel songs, and one of the most popular ones at the time was "That Woman with Them Goo-Goo Eyes." And they would sing it, "That woman with them goo-goo eyes." Because when the American soldiers got to the Philippines, the Filipino men were, they're effeminate, they're these little brown people. The Filipino women, they liked the Filipino women. And they would sing the minstrel song. And of course it would upset the locals. And goo-goo became goo. And goo becomes a word that sort of gets transferred from war to war throughout the 20th century by American soldiers. Of course, some of you are probably familiar. I mean, not only did we drop 2 atomic bombs on Japan, but of course there was also quite a lot of firebombing. And one of the interesting things, Robert Strange McNamara, of course, who later became Secretary of Defense and maybe is more associated with the war in Vietnam, was attached to Curtis LeMay in the Second World War. And it's a fascinating documentary, Fog of War. It came out not long after the attacks on 2001. And what's interesting about this is this quote: "If we lost the war, we've all been persecuted as war criminals." And I think he's right. He and I, and saying I, were behaving as war criminals. LeMay recognized that what he was doing would be thought immoral if the side lost. But what makes it immoral if you lose and not immoral if you win? And the good war narrative obscures this. It's something that really needs to be interrogated, because one of the things that happens, of course, during the Second World War, the line blurs between civilians and soldiers in other places. And it's continued to do that. And the United States, at the beginning of the war, was very clear about condemning particularly the policies that the British were pursuing regarding bombing civilians in Europe. And that changes quite a bit through the course of the war. One of the reasons I think the good war narrative holds up, one of my teachers at Temple University was the late great Russell Wiley, who wrote a book called The American Way of War. And since then, Dominic Tierney wrote a book that sort of picks up on that, how we fight crusades, quagmires in the American way of war. The way Americans think about war is that crusade. And in terms of fighting it, it's almost apolitical. There's the bad guy. We can marshal all of our resources, crush the bad guy, and it becomes a moral drama. But it excludes, again, all of the complexity and all of the suffering. Part of the reason I think it endures is because if you go back before the Philippines, in this country, in the 19th century, before we were making the world safe for democracy, of course, we were talking about manifest destiny. We were on a civilizing mission. And you see that very clearly in the art produced during that time period, where Colombia, of course, is bringing the rule of law, and you see the savages sort of running for their lives. A couple of books I'd recommend. Aaron O'Connell, he currently is on the National Security Council, and he was in Temple University last Friday. He was there to talk as part of the CENFAD colloquium. He was attached to the Trace in Afghanistan. His new book coming out in the spring from University of Chicago Press is called Our Latest Longest War, Losing Hearts and Minds in Afghanistan. Said World War II provided policymakers with the ideological seed in which to swing you remember the quotes, the axis of evil, and talking about doing similar kinds of things in places like Iraq and Afghanistan as we did in Japan and Germany. And it became very seductive. Of course, Fairweather in the Good War saying we don't have a God-given right to shape every nation in our image or as we choose. Questions?
Thanks, Chris, for the invitation to be here tonight. And my compliments to Bob, wherever I think he's in the back of the room, for setting the stage for my discussion of preserving memories of the World War II era, which survived to us in paper. And by that, I mean photographs, letters, certificates, diaries, and all sorts of other ephemera. I'm really thrilled to be here to present today to you all about caring for your own historic papers. I hope to provide a context to you for understanding preservation priorities, and then share some technical conservation quality information to give you a little bit of data into what sort of materials should be used for your own historic papers. I might say that what I have to present to you tonight is the theme of what do I need and how do I find it? I hope that you'll be encouraged to take your World War II era photos, documents, books out of those potentially overstuffed, precariously stacked, and surprisingly sequestered boxes, like those I have pictured there. Maybe you've seen some of those around your own home. Share your artifacts. Store them appropriately for the long term, and thereby you'll be saving them. Chris, could you give me the clicker? I have a flash drive, but no clicker. Maybe it's in Bob's pocket. Oh, here. Here we go. Thank you. So I come to you from the Conservation Center for Art and Historic Artifacts. Are any of you familiar with CCAHA? Great. I'm glad we have one friend in the audience. We like to call ourselves CCAHA. Just rolls off the tongue a little quicker. I also had a participant in a recent workshop tell me, it must have been a great workshop, because she said, you guys should really call yourselves CC AHA. We are made up of 4 departments that come to CCAHA. The first department is the Preservation Services Office, and that office has 4 employees. I belong to that office. We go out into the field and conduct preservation surveys and assessments for collections, make various recommendations for how to care for objects. And we also do educational programming, of which I'm in charge. The second department at CCAHA is the Digital Imaging Studio. In the Digital Imaging Studio, every object that comes to the Conservation Center will have a picture taken before treatment and after treatment. And the Digital Imaging Center also produces facsimiles of artifacts, if that should be something that a client wants. Conservators treat, on average, about 6,000 objects per year at the center from around 400 individual and institutional clients. Our 4th and final department at CCAHA is a housing and framing department. And that department is responsible, of course, for making beautiful mats and sealed packages and framing artifacts before they leave the center. That's a picture of the Conservation Center in the upper left-hand corner. We are actually located about a mile from here on 22nd Street between Spruce and Spruce. Well, actually, we used to be an ice cream factory. Yeah, and there's no ice cream left, unfortunately. We became a nonprofit in 1977. In my role at the Conservation Center, I'm the Education Program Manager, so I develop curriculum, I teach workshops, both at the center and out in the field. Prior to being the Education Program Manager, I actually worked in the Conservation Lab for 3 years. So I really enjoy working with my hands. I have a lot of knowledge in my head about various conservation materials. So if you have specific questions at the end of my talk tonight about various supplies, I am happy to a geek out all about various preservation quality materials, so that's the way. So you might consider bringing a paper artifact to the Conservation Center for treatment. That is for a specific scientific remedy to fix staining, tearing, decaying, or any kind of other degradation to your artifact. But what can you do yourself to provide appropriate housing, eliminate stress and potential hazards to your paper artifacts, and thereby maybe even eliminate having to bring your artifact to the Conservation Center? I will focus my comments this evening on describing what impacts preservation and how specifically you can care for your World War II artifacts in your collection in a beneficial way. Our homes and our offices are, of course, not outfitted with museum quality storage vaults, and we don't all necessarily have the budget for museum grade equipment and supplies. But the first thing to consider is that preservation is very much related to these 4 areas of concern. And those 4 areas are the environment in which an artifact lives. And by that, I mean the surrounding temperature, relative humidity, and light exposure. Secondly, paper preservation is also impacted by pest management. Don't let any of those little critters near your paper artifacts, in other words. A third category, very important to paper preservation, is handling. How do you actually touch historic papers? And a fourth category that impacts paper preservation is storage. You want to select really good quality materials to come in contact with your historic papers. This is, do you ever read those magazines, those fashion magazines that have the black bars over the women's faces? That's what not to wear. My presentation contains many images of what not to do, or the worst case scenarios. So in the category of temperature and relative humidity, you want to, in so much as it is possible, keep the temperature and surrounding humidity very consistent in the areas where your artifacts are kept. On the left-hand side here is a photograph that, because it was kept in a very, very warm area, the rate of expansion between the emulsion of the photograph and the paper support is differing and causing cracking on the surface of the photograph. The upper right image is an image of another photograph that has been overtaken by mold spores. Mold loves warm, moist environments, and it is reproduced very quickly in such environments. And even if you can remedy a mold situation, once an artifact has gotten mold on it, it's much more likely to get mold again. So you want to try and keep the mold away from your artifact at all. In the bottom right-hand corner is a book, which, because it was kept in a very hot and moist environment, is actually expanding. That is, the paper pages of the book are growing in size and causing stress to the binding, and overall you can see that the volume is stretching. If at all possible, you want to keep your artifacts in dry, cool areas so that you don't experience any of this damage. You want to avoid storing your artifacts in basements, garages, or attics, because those are places where the temperature can rise and fall very dramatically during different seasons of the year. You also want to avoid microenvironments. And by that I mean anywhere where an artifact is sort of sealed in a compacted space, like in a Tupperware container or a Ziploc bag. If possible, monitor the areas where you store your paper artifacts, keeping the temperature to about 65 degrees and between 30 and 50 degrees relative humidity. When paper is exposed to light for extended periods of time and in high quantities, deterioration also occurs. Here are some examples of light damage. On the lower left-hand side, that photograph has been placed in a lovely oval framed mat. And the mat has protected the photograph underneath it, but only in the four corners. Unfortunately, within the circle of the mat that was placed over it, the photograph has been exposed to light over some duration of time, and all of the coloring in the photograph has faded. That, unfortunately, is an irreparable circumstance. In the lower right-hand corner here, a historic fabric was on display for an extended period of time with a piece of metal belt gathering around the waist. And because the belt wasn't moved to different locations over the historic textile, there was some light damage there. Your paper collections are protected best in a dark environment, so that you can keep photographs, books, and other historic papers in a closet or somewhere away from a window. That is advantageous. Even at the Conservation Center, as you can see in the photograph right in the middle here, we avoid at all costs any sunlight or daylight of any kind. All of our windows are in fact filtered from UV light, but some still does get through into the lab, and you can see that along the side of the wall there, that some days it's so bright there's sunlight coming into the building, you can't stop the light. But we will actually take our projects and move around the lab to avoid having any sort of direct exposure to light. This is the gross slide. What kind of pests on paper? Well, there are four in particular that really love to munch away on artifacts that you may have in your home. On the left-hand side is an image of mouse damage to a book. Mice just inherently love to chew, and that's to sharpen their teeth, and it's just a natural activity that they like to do. And in fact, the female mice like to chew and take little scraps back to build nests for their young. So the image in the top left there is from a page that a mouse has decided to devour. Of course, you can always tell if you have mice present around your artifacts because there'll usually be a lot of droppings around, but you need to take care of those. Are really, really toxic. On the upper right-hand side, that is a magnified view of what a powder post beetle can do to an artifact. Powder post beetles like wood, and they actually burrow themselves into wood. So you might not find the beetle itself, but you'll find these little tunnels that they leave behind. This is of particular concern if you have an artifact that's in a wooden frame and that's been sitting in that wooden frame for quite some time. You might find something like a powder post beetle has burrowed inside of there. The bottom image on the left and right are little nibbles taken out of paper by cockroaches and silverfish. The starch and the carbohydrate nature of paper is really tasty to cockroaches and silverfish. So you'll find this kind of damage on paper documents in particular. Silverfish, because of they're so thin, can actually get into the bindings of books. So you might find not only damage around the exterior of the page, but within the structure of the book itself. The most important way to protect your artifacts from insect damage is to just keep things neat and tidy. Keep an eye on the areas where you're storing your artifacts. Look for droppings, for example. You can even use little pest traps. And if you see one, there's probably a lot more in that area. Certainly, you don't want to store any food or drink anywhere near where you are keeping your artifacts. I can tell you because this is statistically true, and I see evidence of this year after year at the Conservation Center. The most significant damage, and the most irreparable damage caused to paper artifacts is in fact not from the environment, not from light damage, not from pest infestation, but it's from improper handling. Before you handle your most precious paper memorabilia, here are some tips to consider in photographs. The image in the upper left is actually of our lab. We have many, many sinks throughout the lab, and that is to just make it very, very simple to be washing our hands all day long. We don't wear gloves at the Conservation Center, and that's primarily because you really lose a sense of tactileness if you're wearing gloves and trying to handle paper at the same time. We wash our hands a lot, and then we dry our hands on lint-free towels so that there aren't any of those very small fibers left over on our hands that might transfer to paper. We use ivory free and clear bars of soap because those have been proven to have little to no residue that remains on your hands. So my point there is, if you're getting ready to handle one of your most precious paper documents, just make sure your hands are clean. Don't use any of that antibacterial lotion because that actually does leave residue behind on your hands that can stain papers. The image in the upper right must be a very, very old one because I remember those heart mugs when I was a kid. But the point remains, you really shouldn't be snacking and looking at your favorite photo scrapbook at the same time. Accidents happen. In fact, we had a very large poster come to the center once with damage from soda, from a 7-Up can that actually had been opened quite a distance away from the poster, but the bubbles and the explosion of the sugar had, jumped out over onto the poster that was hanging on the wall behind the bar. Accidents happen. So keep food away from your artifacts and be cautious if they're even in the vicinity. The images on the bottom of this slide I brought along to show you that sometimes what you're wearing on your body can actually cause harm to a paper artifact. Like we don't wear name tags at the center, but if you have a necklace or any kind of watch or jewelry on, you need to take care if you're handling a precious item because those accessories could potentially tear paper. Also, you should try, when you're sharing your paper artifacts, not to lean over them, just being conscious of the way that your body is moving, because spittle and, any sort of precarious actions can cause accidents. You just need to have a general awareness when you're handling your paper. So, even the oldest historic papers are surprisingly strong. Paper has a fiber dimension to it that is quite robust. You don't need to be afraid to handle your papers. You just need to be a little bit conscious of the pressure and the strength that you use when you're holding papers. So at the Conservation Center, we always teach that you should use just a relaxed grip when you're holding paper documents. And by relaxed, I mean firm, but without pressing your fingers into the papers at any points. You can actually cause dents and wrinkles into paper artifacts if you're holding them too tightly. And of course, if your nail is cut into the paper. So if you just use a little bit of strength in your fingertips, but not too much pressure, that should be perfect for holding any kind of papers. We also teach that if you are using or sharing a large document, that you should pick it up by opposing corners. But even better, you could put the large paper document onto another supporting piece of paper and carry the paper document by the supporting paper. And that's what the conservator is doing here. She's placing the large document onto a supplementary piece, and then she'll carry the document by that piece. You don't want to wrinkle and dent your most precious paper artifacts by your own hand. You should also not let your fingertips touch image or text in any paper artifacts that you have. If at all possible, you should share and carry your photographs from behind so that your fingerprints and any residue that are on your fingers don't get transferred to the photograph itself. Sometimes we can make the recommendation that you use your fingertips in the margins of photographs to handle them, but as you can see from the photographs here on the slide, it's inevitable. The oils from your hands still do ultimately transfer to the photo. So if at all possible, just don't touch the image or text at all. You should never retrieve books by the head cap, like that person is doing in the image on the left. The head caps are actually probably the weakest part of a book. The safer way to remove a book from the shelf is to put your hands behind the book itself. Give a gentle nudge from behind until the book extends out 1 or 2 inches, and then you can grab it on either side and then gently remove it from the shelf. So my apologies for the view there, but we have at the Conservation Center 2 excellent options that completely eliminate improper handling of paper artifacts. The first option is to have a facsimile made of your paper artifact. And by that, I mean having a high-definition photograph taken of your artifact, and then having that image printed on very high-quality, acid-free paper. And the result is that you have a facsimile that's surprisingly similar in look to your original artifact. But you can touch the facsimile, you can share it, you can take it outside. If there's any accident or any damage that occurs to the facsimile, we'll print you a new one. And in the meanwhile, you have your original artifact stored somewhere or in a frame somewhere that's safe. By making a facsimile, you're just reducing the amount of times that your original artifact is touched and shared. At the Conservation Center, we also offer sealed packages, and these packages actually seal our lab environment in a package with the artifact. So the artifact is put in a mat, and it is topped with a UV glazing and supported underneath by a rigid piece of board, and it's wrapped completely in this silver paper and heat sealed along the edges, and it makes like a little, almost a sandwich, a microenvironment for your artifact to live in. It's watertight, and it protects the artifact from any fluctuations in temperature, relative humidity, and any pest infestations. These are sort of Cadillac versions of how to keep people's hands off your documents. When you're organizing and storing World War II papers, you should choose conservation quality materials wherever it's possible. So when you're bundling letters, documents, and certificates, for example, you don't want to use any of the things that I have pictured in this slide. Rubber bands are a terrible way to keep your papers bound together. Rubber bands get brittle and they break, and they also cause wrinkles and tension in your stacks of paper. Don't use rubber bands. Don't even use a loosely tied ribbon. We've seen lots of evidence of dyes from ribbons being transferred onto the paper itself. Paper clips are also an enemy. They rust and cause wrinkling and denting in papers. Staples are of the same category. I have a friend in the lab who once said to me that Post-it notes are my bread and butter. Post-it notes don't belong anywhere on your historic papers either, because they actually leave a residue behind on papers. Also, tapes, rubber cements, none of those are conservation grade quality adhesives, so you want to stay away from those. If you have many any documents or photographs that you want to keep together, maybe because they represent a theme or a common concern, the best way to do that, don't use any of these things, but keep all of your documents together, groups together in a folder. They can sit loosely in a folder together, but they're not in contact with any of these, what I call enemies to paper. Connecting to the past through your World War II artifacts, sharing them in the present, and keeping them preserved for the future requires housing and storage of the best possible design and quality. But there is a huge variety of boxes, folders, envelopes on the market right now. It's really difficult to determine where you go to get conservation quality supplies. I mean, even Walmart, I saw recently, is advertising a certain photograph sleeve. It's really not conservation quality, but you can get these kinds of supplies anywhere, is my point. You should really seek out the highest quality materials to come in contact with your artifacts. And to that end, in the folder that I had out on the table, I included a list of conservation quality suppliers. You should feel totally comfortable contacting any of the vendors on that list and know that what they're supplying, what they're selling is very high quality, very dependable, and data proven to work with paper artifacts. I would also encourage you, if you have questions about how to store your paper artifacts, to call any of the vendors on that list and ask them many, many questions. Part of the job, really, of these vendors is to provide information to their clients about preservation. So you should feel comfortable talking to any of the sales representatives about the artifact that you have and what your conservation concern is as you're purchasing preservation materials to come in contact with your artifact. But I think the most important tools that I can give to you to help you select high quality, performance rated materials to come into contact with your artifacts is to get familiar with this preservation terminology. By understanding these words, you should be able to describe what you need, and you will know if something is and or is not up to standards. The first word on the list of preservation terminology is probably the one you've seen around most frequently, and that word is archival. Archival is really just a modern buzzword. It has a relatively nebulous meaning. It implies that anything that is archival is safe to use with paper or valuable records, and that might be true, but archival as a descriptive word actually doesn't have any scientific meaning. Archival is not conveying to us any sort of performance database rating whatsoever. And you will see archival all over the place, and that's how I sort of made this collage. Archival might mean that it is well constructed or compliant to certain museum or library standards, but it actually doesn't imply or convey any sort of scientific measurement. Acid-free does. Acid-free is an actual measurement of pH. If something is acid-free, it measures neutral on the pH scale, and you know that it is safe to come in contact with your paper artifacts. So, as you're looking through catalogs or online at various boxes or envelopes or folders to put your paper artifacts into, if you see something described as archival, that's not enough. You really need to know if that material is acid-free, because if it is acid-free, it's not going to contribute or take away hydrogen ions from the environment where your paper artifact is restored. Here are two images, again to scare you. The picture on the top is an engraving that was matted with mat board that was not acid-free. So the acid from the mat board leaked out onto the engraving and caused that yellowing and discoloration. Acid can transfer to an artifact, not only if it's physically touching, however. In the image on the bottom, the acid from those folders has actually transferred to the paper historic documents, even the ones that are not touching the folder. So if something has acid in it, it actually is off-gassing and surrounding the environment of the paper artifact next to or near to it. So you need to be very certain that the material that is touching your artifact is acid-free, as well as anything in surrounding areas of your artifact is acid-free. You might be wondering if things you are using at home right now are acid-free, and there's a very easy way to test that. You can get one of these acid-free indicator pens. I've gotten them many times. You can get them at Amazon.com. They're about $5. You take the pen and you make a small mark on the folder or box that's in contact with your paper artifact. And if the small mark turns purple, that means it is acid-free. If it remains colorless or turns yellow, there is some acid in there, so you need to get that folder or that box away from your artifact. You would never use one of these pens on the artifact itself, because there's a little bit of residue that remains. You would only use the pen on whatever folder or binder you're using to hold the artifact. Lignin-free is another preservation terminology word. Lignin is one of the most abundant organic polymers on Earth. There's a little cartoon of it in the middle of this slide here. Lignin actually gives strength and structure to paper, but lignin gives off acid. So, unfortunately, some of the historic papers that we have are actually made out of lignin. There's nothing we can do to take the lignin out of paper that was made with it. But it's helpful to understand that most of papers that are made from cotton or hemp do not have lignin. It's really the modern day papers that were manufactured after the 1850s that have wood pulp and therefore lignin in it that are the most dangerous. So in terms of World War II documents, those might be things you have in your collection like newspapers, diaries, various scrapbooks. The kind of paper that was easy to get and cheap in the 1940s and 1950s, for the most part, is made out of wood pulp and has lignin. So unfortunately, that paper itself is off-gassing in some cases. So you want to make sure that there's nothing you can do about the lignin in the artifact itself, but you want to make sure to choose lignin-free storage boxes and wrapping papers for your artifacts because you don't want to add to the trouble. PAT stands for the photographic activity test. And this is actually an industry test that determines what is safe to be in contact with photographs. This test was established in the early 80s, and about 8,000 samples of materials have been subjected to the PAT test. You don't want to ever choose a material that doesn't have the PAT photo activity test passing stamp on it anywhere near your photographs. We know and we can depend on the PAT test. It's like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. And all items that have passed this test are You would never want to choose something that, to be near your photos that hasn't passed this test. The 3 Ps are really a mouthful. Polyester, polyethylene, and polypropylene. These polyester, the 3 Ps, I'm just going to say the 3 Ps so I don't have to say those 3 words again. The 3 Ps are components of which you can use with your photographs. If you are choosing various folders and envelopes to store your photographs in, you want to make sure that those envelopes are made out of the 3 Ps. You never want any polyvinyl chloride, PVC, to come in contact with your photographs. PVC off-gases, and it's not chemically stable, so it actually exacerbates degradation in green photographs. Plastics are actually plastics of the 3 Ps are a great choice for use with your photographs because they're clear. It's really nice to have your photograph in an envelope like this that you can just see through. It makes it very easy when you're looking for a certain image within your collection. The plastic is actually a little bit rigid, so it helps support on all sides of the photograph. You can write with a Sharpie on these plastic envelopes in case you want to make any notations or note dates. They're quite nice and they're appropriate. You just have to make sure that you are not choosing any sort of sleeves with PVC. Here are some examples of the ways that you can make a storage system out of sleeves or pages made of the 3 Ps. In the top left, you can put each of your photographs into a sleeve and then organize them in a document box. On the top right is an organization system by which all the photographs were put into a similarly sized sleeve and then moved in a box. That's a preferable option because if the sleeves are all the same size, they don't jiggle around in the box. You will very frequently find these binder pages also made out of the 3 Ps. These are the ones with the pockets in it. You can put your photographs into those quite nicely for display. You just have to make sure that your photographs are in good enough shape that they're not going to be bothered by bending or flipping of the pages. But as long as all of these items are made out of the 3 Ps or are acid-free, you can use them for your photographs.
Stephanie, I'm sorry, but does that apply to negatives as well?
It does, in most cases. You would never want to use a storage system like this for glass plate negatives because glass plate negatives are particularly susceptible to scratching. So having them stored so closely next to each other just increases the potential that they might just get nicked. Also, glass plate negatives are very, very heavy. So storing them in a box like the situation in the top right is not a great idea because the glass plate negative that's on the bottom of the stack would have way too much weight on top. Also, glass plate negatives can be very tricky because of their chemical components. Some of those glass plate negatives are still off-gassing and can be quite toxic to work with. So it is sometimes advantageous to contact a conservator if you have a situation. I always think it's better to ask. And we do recommend that you wear latex gloves if you're working with glass plate negatives, because some of the chemical procedures that went into making those negatives, we don't even fully understand to this day. So it's good to have your hands protected. And you wouldn't want to use a cotton glove to work with glass plate negatives because it's just too slippery.
What about the tintypes and the air types?
The tintypes are a little more hardy. I would also wear the blue latex gloves if you have them available for working with tintypes and daguerreotypes. Daguerreotypes can be complicated because their structures are so intricate. You know, usually there's a fabric wrapped around the back and sometimes an adhesive that was used. For storage, these kinds of boxes are okay, but again, I wouldn't put any weight on top of them. And if there were any sort of, I don't know that I've ever seen a daguerreotype that's in really great structural shape. Usually there's, you know, they're open, there's a hinge sort of poking out or something. They can be kind of complicated structurally. So if possible, you would want to have maybe one in a box, and thereby eliminating the risk that they would sort of injure each other. And last on the list of preservation terminology is zeolite. And this little cartoon of this guy is kind of how I envision a zeolite. A zeolite is a modern structural addition that is now being put into certain mat boards. And the zeolite can actually absorb acidic off-gassing. It can absorb odors, and it can absorb any sort of dyes and other sort of strange things that might be surrounding your artifact. So if you're considering taking some of your World War II artifacts and having them matted, you might want to ask for a mat board that has zeolites, because those zeolites are working for you, really absorbing all of the potentially dangerous things that could come in contact with your artifact. The magnification image on the bottom left, I brought along this to show you because I think it's so interesting. These teeny tiny little zeolites are actually woven into the fibers of the mat board itself. You do have to change the mat board after about 15 to 20 years because the zeolites do get full of bad things. So that's a consideration as well. So when you go to catalogs or you go online and you're getting ready to choose a container, a box, a folder, or some kind of mat board, you should look for preservation technology in the description. I just pulled this one out of a catalog, and I highlighted the things I liked about this description. This description indicates, please call if you want to get a certain kind of box made. I think that indicates, that we have knowledgeable sales representatives on hand to talk to you about exactly what you need. And it shows an open-mindedness and an honesty on behalf of the vendor. That's a really good sign. This box is described as acid and lignin-free. Great, that's exactly what you want to come in contact with your artifact. You wouldn't want anything else, in fact. And furthermore, this box, as it's described, passes the Ph.D. photo activity test. So you would be able to store photographs in that box. So you can go through this process of really looking for the important preservation technology and descriptions of materials. You can feel very confident in what you choose. Sometimes, despite our best efforts at preservation, like monitoring the environment, practicing good housekeeping, choosing quality storage, despite all that, the severity of the damage to the paper is too significant for any sort of DIY project. And you should call a conservator. Here I have a few examples of situations in which you should absolutely call a conservator and don't attend any sort of preservation resolution on your own. You should never try and flatten out or unroll or brittle or difficult scroll or panoramic photograph. These materials are notoriously difficult and very, very, they're really rigid. They don't like to give up their rolled up shape. And what will happen if you force a scroll or a panorama open is it will lose fragments of the pigment. In fact, there was a detail of lost pigment in the top middle here. I don't have a look at so you can tell when you're starting to lose media. And if you have an artifact in your collection and some of the media or the color is falling off, that's definitely a situation where you want to call a conservator right away. You also, if possible, want to save any little shards of pigment that are coming off of the artifact, because they can potentially be reaffixed to the artifact. Similarly, if you have a paper artifact that's torn, or in any sort of variety of fragments, you want to call a conservator for that. Don't try and tape it back together. And please do save any of the fragments, because it's possible that the artifact itself can be mended. The bottom left image is an image of extraordinary mold damage. Mold actually is a health hazard, and you want to contact a conservator right away if any of your artifacts are experiencing a mold outbreak. The image in the bottom middle is of a mat folder that has been so taped up, when you lift up the mat, you're actually pulling the artifact with it. If there's any circumstance like this that requires moving or changing of adhesive to get to an artifact, you want to call a conservator. And of course, if there's ever an emergency or a security threat of any sort to your objects, you want to call a conservator. You can always call the Conservation Center, and we can refer you to someone locally who has an expertise in what you need. Or if you have more time and leisure for doing research, you can go to the AIC, American Institute of Conservation website, and they actually have a searchable database that you can use to find someone by area or by expertise. World War II era documents and photographs can present preservation challenges because they're stored in our homes in usually less than secure or ideal conditions. But by choosing conservation quality housings, using preservation terminology, thoughtful handling, and recognizing what we call the expert, you contribute to the prolonged, useful, and beautiful life of artifacts. I'm leaving you with a photo of my great uncle Elroy, who served in World War II, and I'm happy to hang around for a while if you want to talk about any of your individual artifacts that you have questions about in your collections. You also can feel free to call the Conservation Center or to consult our website if you have any specific questions about the paper.